What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Liberate Your Money, episode 45. Well, if you're in crypto, you probably already seen what happened. We had a crazy liquidation event. It happened last night around midnight, 1 o'clock in the middle of the night. I remember just looking at my portfolio and just seeing everything making new lows. And I was like, I gotta see what's going on. And I hop on the computer and I just see a cascade. I was literally watching it in real time. It went from, 50K. Once we breached this diagonal, it was like, the floodgates opened, and we had a crazy liquidation event. A lot of people lost a lot of money, got liquidated, and in my last video I was talking about a worst case scenario like this. Obviously we wanted to see this wedge consolidation hold up just like it did over here, and in the last video we were just breaching down from the wedge. Price was stuck below. It was like right down here, and I was like, man, we should be nice if we could get above this wedge, right? And then, break out above it and start making our ways towards the highs. Well, we did get that pump into the top of the wedge. I happened to close out my long. I didn't close out my ETH long. I wish I would have. And then price kind of came back down here. I actually re-entered a Bitcoin long as like a last resort. Really wish I wouldn't have done that because I ended up getting stopped. Just ended up losing money. And yeah, I come back to the chart and we had this crazy liquidation event. And I was talking about a possibility of this happening. I did not think it was going to happen, to this magnitude. But if we zoom out and look at the monthly chart, I had this level mapped out on all of my charts, and 47.1 was always a major level for me, and price got down there and it didn't find support, and I was watching this and I was like, oh man, and it didn't even like go back up to retest it. It just like blew past it and then came down, blew past these lows, and I was like, holy shit, are we gonna retest like the 30 lows? And we ended up finding a floor at, guess what price? 42,000. We went from 69K to 42,000, 69,420. I don't know, man. The whale's got a sick sense of humor or something, but we bounced at 42,000, give or take a little bit, but basically 42,000 level held as support. And we saw a very strong reaction, just like we normally do with these liquidation events. And now the monthly is actually above this key monthly level support. Now, something I wish I would have taken in consideration, and that I'm definitely taking away from this whole scenario, is that like monthly levels are so important. And I remember, and I've known this for a long time, and I still neglect them from time to time, and I didn't look at it or study it as well as I should have this cycle. And if we look at these monthly levels, okay, this is our highest monthly close on the initial all-time high, right? So that's a major level. We got above it, closed above it. We expected this to be bullish. It was a failure, pattern failure. We broke back down it in November. Last month's November close, I knew it was a bad monthly close. I was studying it, but for whatever reason, I just like didn't put two and two together. That look at all this space between this monthly close and the next significant level, which is this monthly close. I mean, it's like hot air from 57K all the way down to this 47K. And once we got this confirmation of November closing below these levels, it basically just like opened the floodgates, and we closed. We had a little pump into the all-time high close, and then we just dumped hard. and we dumped into that 47K and even went below it because the market was so over levered. You just get these cascading liquidation events that send us way lower than what we probably should. And we had like, I don't even know how many liquidation. It was like 1.2 billion in liquidations in a matter of 1 hour, I think is what Will was saying. $1.79 billion longs liquidated in the last hour, and that was at 11. Yeah, but like, okay, if we're talking about the cycle, if December closes above this 47.1, I think that's your first step in being like, okay, maybe this isn't completely over, right? My strategy, I'm not betting on that. Like, if we get a pump into these highs, I'm going to be unloading my altcoins. My strategy is to unload half of my two biggest altcoins, which are Solana and BNB. Keeping half of those because they're strong plays. I'm a long-term holder. I think they're going to do well in the long term. But I'm still going to take my profits, which is, I consider about 50% of the bag, I think is comfy. And I'll keep the other half, BNB and Sol, and then my metaverse plays that we talked about, I'm still confident on. I think with ETH actually showing some pretty good strength here on the monthly chart, you can see it retested it as well, and it's well above its monthly level. So this actually looks really good for continuation. But again, we still need to see this yellow line hold for December, and then we want to see it make new highs. But if ETH is strong, I have confidence in some altcoin plays. And right now, like the last video I told you guys, I was in Pyre, made it all the way down to $16, which is pretty insane to me. Lock G, another one. The monthly chart looks good as well. We are retaining these monthly levels, and these are the most key levels, guys. When things go bad, I always zoom the fuck out, right? And for whatever reason, I didn't zoom the fuck out before this drop, and if I would have known that these monthly levels are key, our next key support levels, and I should have waited and to buy anything until those were breached. So that's just some hindsight analysis, right? Hindsight's 2020, but like the monthly charts, guys, I'm telling you. Solana, again, one of the more bullish looking charts. We don't even need to look at the monthly level to know that this is a bullish chart. But remember, in the last video, we were looking at this pitchfork is kind of cool. I like to use pitchforks in trending markets, but if we delete this, remember we had this, like, last video we were down here, and I was like, man, the Solana chart, I hate it. It looks terrible. We literally bounced right after that video, broke back above the wedge, and then the markets went to shit again, and Solana was no exception. And then once it got below here, then we had that market sell-off last night. It made it all the way down to 170. I actually had Solana bids at 160 because I knew this level was pretty important if we look at the VWAP. But it didn't make it that far. My bids didn't get filled. But we did see this nice wick, nice bounce. But as you can see, we're back in this range, right? This yellow range that I had mapped out. So, like, maybe these 160 bids do get hit eventually. But like I told my friends already that have been asking me what I'm doing, I'm going to be selling. I'm keeping my Bitcoin. I'm keeping my Ethereum. Selling half my Solana. Selling half my BNB. I'm holding on to my AVAX because my AVAX I really don't have a large position in, but like I'm confident in it, so I think it's, in the grand scheme of things, a good buy. My Atom, I am going to be selling all that I don't have staked, which is, I only have staked like a third of my bag, so I'll be selling like 2/3 of my Atom, and then I don't know what I'll do once I unstake it. I might sell all of it. I always keep moon bags. I don't necessarily sell everything, but when I sell everything, I mean like I'm going to sell like 90%, 85%, and I'm going to keep a moon bag of it. But the rest of the stuff, you know, I'm going to keep my metaverse plays because I think the metaverse, the strength in ETH, and then the metaverse, you know, with Twitter changing their name to Block and focusing on Metaverse, and Facebook changing their name to Meta, like, I don't think that the Metaverse and gaming crypto thesis has played out to a full effect yet, right? I think that there's still a lot of room for these to grow. I think, you know, just by looking at some of these protocols and following them, they're gaining new users every day by the thousands. And so if you just follow that growth, I think those are some of the better value plays, you know, going forward in the medium term. You know, if markets do find a bottom, I like the Metaverse plays more than like your DeFi or like some of this other stuff. So I'll be keeping my Metaverse plays, but the rest of my alts, really, like, I'm going to be looking to exit 90% of it. I mean, no reason to hold it. I made, and this is based on my strategy. Like, I was always going to be selling a lot of my port because I made a ton of money on it. So, like, I'm not going to hold. I was here back in 2017 and 18. Like, I'm not going to be holding this shit negative 90%, hoping on some super cycle. If markets show strength again after you sell, you can always buy back in. Like, it doesn't, like, if you're afraid of taxes, you can't let the man in taxes scare you out of your positions. You have to keep your port preservation in mind when you're selling, so that you don't give it all away or hold it down to a negative 90%. You know, I've done that before many times. I'm not going to do it again. So you have to be defensive in these markets. I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. So maybe some key levels that you want them to bounce into, sell a little before them. But yeah, I'm going to be looking for the exit door in a lot of this stuff. I have faith that the markets can rebound. Like I said, these monthly levels do look really good. Solana has been relatively strong. It's still above $200. So that's encouraging. Everything's still down a shit ton. You know, I think panic selling down here is a mistake. I think you should wait for some sort of relief. I mean, we've already seen relief from the absolute lows. So it's not a bad idea to take any profits, really, if you're still in profit. But, like, if you're selling at a loss, you know, maybe let the market breathe a little bit and see where we go from here. That's what I'm going to be doing. Like I said, I'm going to be looking for the exit on a lot of this stuff. I hope you guys play it safe. The monthly charts look good. I can't hope for, you know, gains. I'm going to secure my gains, and then if the markets show me strength again, then I'll buy back in on the stuff that I want to. I mean, I have no problem doing that. That's something I didn't accept last cycle, and I regretted it, and I'm not going to make that same mistake again. But that's just my strategy, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my experience with you guys and what I see in the charts. And yeah, so Bitcoin's stuck in a range. You know, we are resting on monthly support. We've got a lot of December left. It's the beginning of the month. So it's going to be interesting to see. What if this thing like wicks and it turns green? It like closes up and we, you know, have this crazy blow off top into like 70. If that happened, if Bitcoin did like just start making new highs, like I would be selling into strength, guys. I wouldn't be like, oh, here comes 100K. I would be selling a little bit, and then as soon as the market started to roll over, I'd be selling a lot. But in the meantime, I'm going to be looking for these relief pumps, studying the market. I'm going to be zooming out because these monthly levels are key for us, right, guys? You live and learn. The last video I was talking about these worst case scenarios, man, and I did talk about this liquidation event. I didn't think it was going to come all the way down to 42K, but nonetheless, that's what we got, and the monthly levels are holding fine, so there's hope. But again, you know, hope doesn't secure your bag. You got to put in the work. You got to put in those stop losses. You got to take those profits, and yeah, wake up call. So stay safe out there, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. All right, peace out.